This is William Swedberg. He is a Swedish 17-year-old wonder kid on Football Manager 2022 that has the potential range of 170. Now, he is one of the best players I think that you can possibly get for wonder kids under £5 million. I managed to negotiate a deal with him for roughly just under £4 million, and he looks amazing when he is set to his max on. I have 9 more players just like this, all wonder kids, all the 170 or above potential ranges that you can pick up for less than 5 million. So make sure you stick around, you smash that like button. Shall we try and aim for 1,000 likes? And also, we're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers because YouTube reckons it will take me 5 months. I bet we can do it before Christmas. Let's move on to the next one. Mattias Chalvez, a right-sided player that is left-footed, 15 years of age, and because he's in the Brazilian league, you're going to have to wait a long time before he gets to you. However, there are some really good traits that I think you'll like in this guy that maybe if you do have a spare bit of cash, maybe you're doing like a Newcastle save for instance, that you pick up this guy at the start of the game and you're happy to wait it out. Although on mine he has low determination, he might have slightly higher on yours. And remember, all of these prices are done on day one. If I make an offer, I have negotiated a deal for just short of £5 million. He is in that 170 potential range, and if you think about how good he looks as a 15-year-old at this part, he must look absolutely fantastic. Roll the clip. 8th place on this list is Rodrigo Ribario. Now, they're 1 to 10, like the top 10, but only like the top 3 are 180. The rest are like 170. So this guy is also 170. He's 16 years of age though, a striker who can also play on that right-hand side. And to start off with, he has some really likable attributes, such as the physicals, that dribbling of 13, technique of 14, flair of 14, for instance. So for a 16-year-old, you think, he could turn out to be amazing. Now, he is in that 170 potential range, meaning that his minimum would be 140, which tells you he'll be a lot better than this. So either way, I think you'd make a profit out of him. So to be honest, it probably is worth signing him because you can pick him up for as little as £1.7 million without any extras, without any clauses, nothing else, for this young 16-year-old who, to be honest, looks fantastic. Let's take a look. 7th on the list is a centre midfielder in Poland, Jakub Kozlowski. I think this guy was decent last year. He is probably better this year, in my humble opinion. 17 years of age, and he is probably the best 17-year-old that you're going to see on this list. Some really great attributes, especially in the mental department. So for a centre midfielder, if you're looking for that elite level, mental attributes are always very important. And this guy, I mean, he's got 13s and 14s, 15 for vision, and he's 17 years of age. Coupled that with his high determination, passing of 14, he looks a really good box-to-box midfielder. Not to mention, you can also play him behind the striker as well. 17, and he's worth 2 million to 3.9 million, and you can pick him up for around about £4.4 million with no added clauses. Let's take a look at him in that 170 current ability. Now again, potential ranges is anything between, say for instance, 170, 140 to 170. They can be anything in between that. And of course, the development all depends on how you develop them, whether you give them game time, whether they have the great attributes in behind professionalism, for example, which means they train harder and work harder. And of course, like, as long as they avoid injuries, that's really the main thing. Facilities as well is quite important. Now, 16 years of age, we have Sergey Pinyayev. He is a Russian left midfielder who can also play up front or play on the right-hand side. Can play in behind the striker should you really need him to, but I think he's best suited to those wings, especially on that left, because cutting inside on his right foot, he has fantastic physicals, 15 agility and flair already. With 13 dribbling, this guy's going to be really tricky. I mean, he's only 5'6" now, but he is only 16. We know that he can grow in height, so maybe he's like a little tricky winger. That would be great. I mean, he cuts inside from both wings, likes to beat opponent repeatedly, is not my favourite thing in the world, but still, I like the look of him to begin with. And of course, because he is on this list, you can pick him up for fairly cheap. I've managed to get it down to £4.7 million. Probably with installments, you probably get it close to like the £2.5 million. I just wanted to guarantee that I can get it under £5 million him without like annoying them, and then I have to load the game again to show you just for the purpose of the video. Now, one of my favourite guys on this list is somebody I've actually used during the beta, and Facundo Farias. Now, Farias maybe? But anyway, he is an Argentinian centre attacking midfielder from Cologne. Very much like what young Thiago Almada was a couple of years ago. I think he's very reminiscent of that. What I do think is slightly better is some of his mental attributes. That anticipation, composure, and off the ball of all above 15, for an 18-year-old, is disgustingly good. Like, that is ridiculous. The fact that he has that at such a young age means if you are to use him with 15 dribbling and 15 long shots, 16 technique, I don't have to tell you how good this guy really is. He is in the 170 potential range, but I think he looks better than that when he is set to his maximum. But before we see him set to his maximum, I've caught you there. £4.7 million with 250k added on after 50 appearances. That is just under the £5 million mark. Now let's show you what he's like. What's amazing about the fourth guy on this list is that Lucas Canizares is the son of the Spanish international Canizares, which I think is quite fantastic. He also plays in goal as well. 19 years of age now, and he plays in the Real Madrid Castilla team. Now, he doesn't look the best goalkeeper in the world, but he is in that 170 potential range, and of course he's only 19 years of age, so plenty of time to develop. Plenty of time for you to use him in the future, given some game time. I'm sure he will develop really nicely. You can get him for £3.7 million at the start. He does have a release clause as well in his contract, should you miss the boat on getting him that cheap. Let's take a look at him at his maximum. Let's look at a centre-back then, and maybe a centre-back that you're quite familiar with. He's a bit of a speed demon as well, because at 17 years of age, Nami Collins makes this list. In the top, 3 now? He's third in the list. 17 acceleration, 16 for pace. He has 15 bravery as well. That 12 positioning is great. The only thing that worries me about this guy is, again, his strength. He really needs to hit the weights. He needs to become like wrestler Omega Luke. He needs to hit the weights, get a little bit stronger. I can't believe I just flexed my bicep and it not be a wrestling promo. By the way, I do wrestling. If you want to watch that, the link is down below in the description for anybody that's new that's coming in. But back to this, £2.5 million. That's all it will cost you. And he's in the 170 potential range, so let's take a look at him. Now we go back to the Real Madrid team, and this time in the under-19s, because Julian John Guerrero is a 17-year-old centre attacking midfielder. If you're looking for centre attacking midfielders, there's loads under £5 million, let me tell you that. This guy is, however, slightly better than the other ones because he has a potential range of 180. Now, it might fall down to 150, so one of these guys might be like 165 or whatever and be slightly higher. But you take your chances. This guy is technically better to go for because it is a high potential range. The only things I do worry about this guy is his composure and concentration are just so low. 5 and 3, and dribbling is 7. So as a centre attacking midfielder, what is he really good at? I mean, flair, for one, is 16, but surely then you'd need decent dribbling. I mean, it might be variable attributes. It could be very different. When you load up the game, you might have like 10 for dribbling and just be slightly better. But in this case, he's more of a passer or a long shotter. I mean, free kick taken as well, a 13. But however, for 17, he does have a release clause. Of course, he is in Spain, £5.25 million. But you can still negotiate. Never forget that. £2.5 million with no additional clauses. You can negotiate. Let's take a look at him at his maximum. And the number one spot is definitely my favourite player so far that I've found in Football Manager 2022 is Lorenzo Luca. I mean, 20 years of age, 6'7", 17 jump and reach, 17 heading. I just love him. He's so good. He's the leaning tower of Pisa, for Christ's sake. He actually plays for Pisa and he's ridiculously tall. The meme writes itself. He's the leaning tower of Pisa. He's also fantastic. We used him in the Arsenal rebuild. Make sure you go check that out because he just bags goals. He also has 15 finishing, 13 composure. He's decent with his feet as well. So he just scores so many goals. he shoots with power, he's like a strong Peter Crouch. He's ridiculously good as a target forward. A pressing forward is not bad either. I don't care what you use him as. He's going to be decent, and yet you can still pick him up for £4.2 million. The only trouble is, he most recently signed a deal, which means he never wants to leave at the start of the game. However, don't let that fret you, because as soon as like half the season goes and that contract is like, it's been gone for a while, you can come back and offer the money again, and chances are he'll want to come to you. Now, you can loan him back to your club. If you're an English club, you might struggle to get a work permit. Loan him back to Pisa for a season. Get that work permit first, because it's going to be worth it in the long run when he's fully developed and you're smashing in goals, because he is in that 180 potential range. Let's have a look at him. He's incredible. And that's your list. What one was your favourite player? Let me know down in the comments if you've used any of them already. And of course, smash that like button. You've got a like target of 1,000 likes. I don't think you're going to be able to do it, to be honest. It's been a while since we hit 1,000 likes. And remember, we're aiming for 30,000 subscribers before Christmas. Before Christmas. I almost said January. No, Christmas. Let's see if you can do that. And while you're there, we did a rebuild. Rebuild in Barcelona with £1 million debt. Go watch it right now. See ya.